Hey there, Misfits. I found something you guys have got to believe, see to believe. Look at this. This is the second edition of Gloomhaven. This is the first place you are ever going to see this puppy. And I've got a star over here, one of the guys responsible. Introduce yourself to our fans.
Hello.
And tell us all about the game.
My name's Dennis Vogel. I was one of the two lead designers on Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, so brand new edition of Gloomhaven, heavily reworked.
This is the first time it's hit air in a
Yes.
public setting.
This is the first box ever printed of it arrived at our door 2 days ago. So this is the very first time we have the physical components ready to play, ready to check out.
This is cool. So tell us what's coming in the second edition.
Okay, so the 2nd Edition is very heavily reworked Gloomhaven. So the core mechanics of Gloomhaven were obviously very successful, very strong, right? It was a very popular game, but you could tell there wasn't quite enough time in the oven in terms of sort of balancing the game, understanding the system through playtesting to the point where you really knew what's good, what's not so good, what is fun to do, what's not so fun. So it's a little rough around the edges. Gloomhaven 1st Edition is a little rough around the edges. And so Cephalofair addressed that with Jaws of the Lion, which really addressed the onboarding process. When you play Gloomhaven 1st Edition for the first time, it really punches you in the face. The first scenario is really difficult. The rules are very complicated.
Chewy is a word I've heard.
Yeah, it's chewy. And so Isaac Childress, the designer of Gloomhaven 1st Edition, he didn't pull any punches when it came to that first scenario, so that can be a little intimidating for people, right? And so in Jaws of the Lion, which is the next Gloomhaven product that was made, there's a 5 scenario on-ramp where you learn the rules over time. Starts easy and it kind of gets you to the right place.
Gets you up to speed, gets you an on-ramp going.
Yeah, the on-ramp. And then Frosthaven was made, which is just a lot more, right? It's a much bigger game, there's a lot of new mechanics, and it would be overwhelming to play Frosthaven as your very first Haven experience, probably, because the characters are more complicated, there's extra mechanics and all this stuff. But so we kind of reached this awkward point where we tell people, hey, you want to get into Gloomhaven, play Jaws of the Lion first, that's a good intro. And then they're like, I love Jaws of the Lion, what am I going to play next? And then we could say you could play Frosthaven, but that's quite complicated, that's a big jump from Jaws of the Lion. Or you could play Gloomhaven, but that's a little rough around the edges and it's not quite as good as Frosthaven or Jaws is. So instead we made Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, which is not as complicated as Frosthaven, but has all of those design elements, all that development we did, and all that understanding of the system to make a much more powerful game in the end, right? A much more complete experience.
It'll help you with the onboarding process.
Yes, so you can definitely play Gloomhaven first, 2nd Edition first. It has a training scenario and all that, and the first scenario is not super difficult like in the 1st Edition.
It's not a total party kill.
Yeah, it's not a total party killer. But the other big change, I would say, there's a couple of different impetuses. So there's the balancing piece and just making it feel like every level up, every choice should matter, right? And if you have cards that are just kind of bad, and then you have cards that are kind of too strong, a lot of those choices kind of make themselves. And so we got rid of a lot of that stuff that was too good or too bad, and so that every time you level up, you really feel like you're making meaningful choices for your character. You're getting cool options that you want both of these cards. Which one are you going to pick, right? So that's one piece. Then the other piece is the narrative. Gloomhaven 1 had some criticisms of the narrative in terms of it being a little simplistic. It's easy to get lost story-wise because you're jumping around between scenarios and it's been a couple weeks between sessions, you don't quite remember what you did last time. And so it can feel a little disjointed. And so
real life gets in the way of remembering everything in a campaign.
Yeah, and so Gloomhaven 2nd Edition is completely rewritten. Every word of narrative text is newly written by a team of writers. These are the same guys that wrote the event cards in Jaws of the Lion and in Frosthaven. They also designed, I think, 15 Frosthaven scenarios called Team Satire. And so they wrote all the event cards and all the narrative text in Gloomhaven 2nd Edition. So that is a huge step up in terms of just the depth of the story, the way the story is told, the consequences of your actions feel more meaningful, if that makes sense. And there's also some new mechanics in the game. So, and one of those is very narrative focused, which is the faction system. So in Gloomhaven 1st Edition, you just had a reputation track. So in Gloomhaven, you were either known as the good party or the bad party. Like you were doing good stuff or bad stuff. That's a little black and white. And mechanically, there was very little incentive to actually be bad in Gloomhaven. You got discounts at the shops if you were good. And like being bad just gave you worse event outcomes most of the time and stuff. So most parties would just go good and it just kind of didn't really feel like a real choice. In 2nd Edition, instead of just having a reputation like that, you actually have 3 factions you can gain reputation with. There's the mercenary, you're the mercenaries. There's the Merchant Guild, the City Guard, and there is the Demon Sect. So these three factions are all trying to take control of Gloomhaven. They're all trying to gain power in the city of Gloomhaven. And your choices matter. You can help one of the factions take over the entire city, but doing so will, of course, make the other factions pretty unhappy.
Oh yeah,
so
it kind of makes them mad when you do
yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
So there's a lot more narrative consequence to who you're helping and who you're hindering. But not only narrative consequence, there's also a lot of mechanical consequence, right? So it'll change what items are available to you. There's a whole secret envelope for each faction that you're allowed to open up that has a bunch of goodies that are specific to that faction. So those narrative choices matter more and are more impactful in terms of the actual gameplay in the long run.
This all sounds absolutely amazing. We got one copy over here. So,
yeah.
when can everybody else get one?
Well, we don't have an official date yet. We finished editing the final document last week, which was the rulebook. Had some last-minute edits that we were doing. So it's all done. We have the first copy here. Now the next step is going to be proofing. So we're going to get, us designers are going to get physical copies for the first time and rip them up and make sure all the colors are right and the prints look correct and
So are you going to like a Kickstarter first, or are you just going to retail it out there?
That was the Kickstarter. Well, it was backer kit, not Kickstarter, but the backer kit crowdfunding was done about a year ago. It was last year.
Okay.
So people could pre-order it there. But it's also coming to retail, of course, and you can also pre-order it on Cephalorfa's website. So it's available for pre-order still, and it'll. So yeah, we're doing proofing now. Then we got to produce them and then ship them. So I mean,
maybe you might be able to get it under the tree in 2025.
No, it should be sooner than.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping backers of the backer kit campaign will get theirs in spring. Or,
nice. Is that
early
quick?
summer at the latest? I hope, but you never know with shipping and all these things what happens. But should be in spring, and then I would assume retail is the following quarter, right? So it should be in like summer or something. But again, no promises. I'm not on the production side. I'm a designer, so don't take my word for it.
Oh yeah, we're not going to hold you to all that.
Yeah.
But we definitely can't wait to play this game. And if people want to get, they're going to go to your website. They can get links to wherever they can pre-order it.
Yeah, you can pre-order it on Cephalorfa's website.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for what seems like is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, we've been having a very good time doing it in person for the first time.
I got to give some time so you can teach me how to play it.
You should come.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, and check that out, guys. Look at that. That is, I'll get you some close-ups. There's going to be some close-ups in this video. I've already shown it, but that's amazing, because I just love the excitement of having it here for the first time.
It's very cool. I mean, I worked on this game for years now, so having it physically in my hand is a very surreal experience.
So if you want to see it, come see it, because you're happy to show it off. Well, awesome. Well, thank you very much, and as always, game on.